Silver girl, sail on by. Your time has come to shine.
Hello and welcome to the Contrarian News Network. My name is Michael Yates, and I will be your host for this edition of the Contrarian News Network. So with that, let's get into it. We've got some big news this week, some very interesting events occurring. First off is a pretty decent market sell-off in the last few days of the week. What was most notable at this was not just the size of it, a 2% drop in pretty much every index across the board, which is a big drop these days considering how low the volatility has been. But when it happened just the day after we got that great GDP report out of the United States with a 4% growth. There's an old saying in the market, and it says that bull markets end when the market goes down on good news. So here we had good news and every reason for the market to do well, and in fact it sold off pretty aggressively. So that's not a good sign. On top of many bad signs we've been seeing lately, like the small caps separating from the big caps. That's another indicator when you see the small cap companies start to pull back, and now we have the small cap Russell index down 7% on the year. And a distinct difference from the large caps, which are still, I think the Dow maybe now is in the red, but up until now they were all in the green. And so there's so many signs on the wall right now. If you've made good money in this market in the last 5 years, don't be greedy. Take your gains, get out, and avoid making the mistake that everybody made in 2008. Just too much greed, too much faith in markets that always go up and down. No one to hold them and no one to fold them. You know what I mean? On top of this, we had another interesting geopolitical event, and that was Russia and India, not Russia and China, Russia and India, making a deal to do swaps in their own, do trade in their own currencies, more and more. We've seen this in the past with China and many nations, and Russia and China, but not so much in India. India has always been very U.S. friendly. Not this time. This time here, they're going with Russia, and they're going to start bypassing the U.S. dollar for their trade. So that's a big development, but if that wasn't enough, the next day or a day after, we see India pulling out of a World Trade Organization deal. Now, there's always an excuse for these things, of some sort of a farmer's holdout contention, but there's always a reason like that. They never say, well, we don't want to trade with you anymore, or we're going with Russia, China. They'll never say something like that. That's not good diplomacy. And so we see them pull out the 11th hour, to the surprise and shock of all the Western countries involved, and there's many of them, none the least of which is the USA. So this is also a very symbolic gesture that India has just taken, pulling out of such a lucrative deal that definitely would have benefited them. And you just got to know it had something to do with meeting with Russia only the day before. And so very interesting developments, all of them undermining the US dollar around the world, because of course the World Trade Organization only deals in US dollars. All their trade is done in US dollars. It's just another mechanism for promoting the US dollar, and of course rewarding countries for doing so. All right, so there's two interesting events during the week, and I think that you're not going to hear much about the sell-off in the media, except for it's just an opportunity to buy. Sooner or later, one of these dips is not going to be an opportunity to buy. It's going to be the actual beginning of the end of the market, and that's the problem with buying the dip. Is there's a time and point when it won't be a dip, when it'll be actual crash of the market, and then you'll be buying the dip all the way down to the bottom. So take your money off the table if you still have it, put it away nice and safe, and live to fight another day. Thanks for joining me in the Contrarian News Network. This is Michael Yates. You have a great day or evening. Bye-bye.
Silver girl, sail on.